The fashion industry is still reeling from the explosive whistleblower releases that purportedly revealed that Hermes manufactures its $30,000 Birkin bags in Chinese factories while promoting them as produced in France. It is utterly absurd. I do not receive this treatment elsewhere. It is profoundly hurtful and unjust. The renowned luxury brand is not only refuting the allegations but is also pursuing legal action against the whistleblower. What commenced as a viral exposé has escalated into a fierce legal confrontation that could potentially jeopardize the brand's entire legacy. However, the lawsuit is not quelling dissent. Rather, it is prompting individuals to inquire more vocally, what is Hermes concealing? I desire that all my endeavors be conducted with integrity. I perceive myself as incapable of deceit, regardless of whether others choose to believe me. Some may dislike this video or accuse me of bitterness, but that is inconsequential. Hermes has now adopted a scorched earth approach following months of rumors, viral leaks, and international humiliation regarding their purported utilization of Chinese factories for the production of French luxury goods. Hermes isn't explaining, they're not apologizing, they're not even denying they're suing, and they're aiming straight at the whistleblower who exposed the entire system. I have a lot of respect for the origins of Hermes. I have a lot of respect for where Hermes originated from. The equestrian, the luxury giant, has filed an international lawsuit alleging defamation, breach of confidentiality, and theft of intellectual property. But let's be honest, this isn't about damage to a logo, this is about damage. To control the whistleblower didn't just leak a few photos, she cracked the facade of the entire Hermes fantasy, because I feel like there is absolutely no measure of quality in any luxury house as to what Hermes produces in their items. I needed to sit down and film this video because I feel like my voice hasn't been heard, and there's just been absolutely no consideration for how I might be feeling. She gave the public something the brand never planned to release. Proof that their legendary handcrafted French-made Birkin bags may have more sweatshop DNA than artisan pedigree. In Hermes' response, not transparency, not accountability, just legal firepower and message. If you talk, we'll bury you, because this isn't just about handbags anymore, this is about fear, reputation, power, and the price of truth in a world built on illusion. And why I also think it's pretty unfair on their part to have no consideration for how I might be feeling. Let's just start off with a quick recap. There's no point me just saying Hermes in general, because I feel like not every story is going to be the same. The woman at the center of this legal hurricane is no influencer. She's not a TikToker chasing clout or a disgruntled employee with an axe to grind. She was allegedly deep inside the Hermes manufacturing ecosystem, working with offshore suppliers, navigating invoices, and watching shipments flow across borders. And what she saw wasn't French edit, it was warehouses in China, sweatshop style production floors. And then I got up the courage. I felt intimidated, that I just felt scared of going. And then one day workers turning out leather handbags that looked shockingly close to the iconic Birkin, machines pressing in the Hermes signature stamp, heat tools used to seal stitching, assembly lines, not artistry. She documented it, filmed it, referenced order codes. Then she dropped the bomb. Well, not really. One day I gave birth to my daughter at the end of 2016, and then a few months into 2017, I was like, you know what, surely I can get enough courage up to go into the local Hermes store. Actually, it brings. How stupid is this? I feel like I want to cry. She claimed Hermes outsourced major portions of the production process, cutting, stitching, even logo branding, to Chinese third-party manufacturers. The bags were allegedly sent to France only for finishing work like buckles, polish, or tags, just enough to legally claim made in France. But it didn't stop there. She wrote down the economics: leather tilde $150 all, hardware tilt to $50 tilde at $200 total, estimated cost per bag under $800. And yet these same bags, when dressed in velvet boxes and sold in boutiques, pushed for $20,000, $30,000, even $38,000. I was apart, I was appreciated by the house, that I was appreciated by that store. That's how she made me feel. She passed me on to someone else who was really great as well. She was a lovely lady, but her footage hit TikTok like a lightning strike. Millions watched, screenshots spread, and suddenly consumers weren't just skeptical, they were furious, because if what she exposed was true, then the entire Hermes myth, handmade, exclusive legacy luxury, was nothing more than a high-gloss lie wrapped in crocodile skin. It all started with her making me feel comfortable to go into the store. Let me just say, I've had another child since that, and I didn't have postnatal depression again. I've overcome that, and I feel very proud. And in the price of revealing that a lawsuit designed to break her for weeks, Hermes issued no statements, had no press conferences, conducted no interviews, and provided no evidence, only quiet. I referred to lawyers instead of addressing the videos, factory footage, or viral cost analyses. Hermes finally responded with a legal take on their lawsuit. Hit headlines like a gavel. It accused the whistleblower of defamation, industrial sabotage, violation of non-disclosure agreements, and the theft of proprietary production data, as their official statement called, and rehearsed. They called her leaks an orchestrated attack on brand integrity, and claimed the lawsuit was about protecting French craftsmanship, not silencing truth. But that excuse fell flat, because if the bags are really handmade in France, why not just prove it? Why sue instead of show? Why unleash a global legal team instead of walking the public through your atelier? Critics say this isn't about integrity, it's about damage control, and instead of repairing trust, Hermes intensified their intimidation strategies. They aimed not only to halt the leak, but also to exemplify their resolve against dissent. They conveyed a stark warning: expose us, and we will jeopardize your entire existence. The subsequent events exacerbated the situation. Hermes may have believed that initiating legal action against the whistleblower would rehabilitate their reputation. However, it had the contrary effect. Once the lawsuit became public, the internet rapidly reacted, with users inundating TikTok and Instagram by sharing the whistleblower's original footage, accompanied by captions such as, "This is what they are attempting to conceal." Rather than providing evidence, they initiated litigation, resulting in a dubious surge in her follower count, which increased by hundreds of thousands within days, attracting influencers from the beauty sector, fashion YouTubers, and investigative TikTokers. Individuals began to align themselves, not merely supporting her but actively protecting her. One creator edited her video and remarked, "If Hermes were innocent, they would have shared a factory tour rather than a legal thread." Hashtags such as #BoycottHermes, #LuxuryLies, and #Justice for Whistleblowers have gained global traction. Reddit discussions have surged, and even mainstream fashion publications, typically cautious around luxury brands, have begun discreetly withdrawing Hermes advertisements. What was once an untouchable brand, shrouded in mystery and elite status, is now being characterized as the industry's antagonist. Hermes misjudged a crucial aspect. In 2025, the public prioritizes transparency over polished public relations, and Hermes has provided none. Let us examine the revelations of the whistleblower. In one viral video, workers are observed affixing Hermes logos to leather panels that had already been machine-cut, contradicting the brand's assertions that every production step is executed by French artisans. Another video analyzes the expenses associated with the production of a Birkin bag made of leather. $150 for hardware, $50 for labor, with a maximum ultimate price of $200. When costs exceed $30,000, consumers begin to inquire, "What am I paying for?" At that moment, Hermes activated the switch. The message transitioned from luxury to control. Control of the story, the whistleblower, and the damage. However, the subsequent events would astonish all. The Hermes action is not solely aimed at silencing the whistleblower. It serves to convey a cautionary message. Legal experts assert that the brand is employing a scorched earth strategy, prolonging the litigation across multiple jurisdictions, amalgamating defamation claims with breach of contract allegations, and even threatening criminal charges pertaining to economic espionage. Indeed, espionage. They are portraying the whistleblower as a rogue employee intent on undermining the brand for personal benefit. However, there is an unexpected development. Certain insiders assert that Hermes had been aware for years of the relocation of portions of their production to China. If the company was already cognizant of this, why initiate legal action now? It appears they did not anticipate the whistleblower's disclosure and now seek to prevent any further leaks. Some loyalists attempted to defend the brand, arguing that outsourcing was inconsequential and that Hermes still epitomized craftsmanship, dismissing the whistleblower as merely resentful. However, as additional evidence emerged, public sentiment began to change. Talk inundated with creators undermined the brand, expensive fabrications became fashionable, even fashion writers who previously lauded Hermes for its heritage beginning making subtle retractions or distancing themselves altogether, as consumers began insisting on transparency. What is the total number of Birkins produced in France? How many celebrities received Chinese-stitched bags as gifts? And how has this affected resale prices, which have declined, but not significantly, indicating a potential erosion of faith in the brand? Let us not feign that this is Hermes's inaugural experience in crisis management. Analysts assert that what we are observing transcends a mere legal dispute. It exemplifies a quintessential high-stakes corporate strategy aimed at intimidating, exhausting, and outlasting the opposition by subjecting the whistleblower to a lawsuit replete with defamation allegations, breaches of confidentiality, and intellectual property theft. Hermes is not merely requesting silence. They are procuring it. Time to clean house, time to rewrite the narrative, time to quietly pivot their supply chain strategy while the public's distracted by courtroom drama, because the second she stepped forward with proof, the real question was never can they sue her, it was where are the bags actually made. But now that question's buried under legal jargon, procedural delays, and media spin, and that's the point. Some insiders believe Hermes is betting on the public's short attention span. If they can stretch this lawsuit for months, maybe years, they think they can regain control, rebuild trust, re-enter the conversation around craftsmanship, while quietly pressuring platforms to remove any damning content. But this tactic is risky, very risky, because the more aggressively they come after her, the more people begin to wonder, what are they trying so hard to hide? Every court date, every new filing, every vague statement keeps the spotlight right where Hermes doesn't want it. On truth they refuse to show, and for a brand that claims to stand for timeless elegance, utilizing legal intimidation against an individual voice is not merely poor optics. It is indicative of desperation. Hermes' lawsuit against the whistleblower beyond mere legal strategy. It represents a display of authority. The inquiry now extends beyond the veracity of her claims to the implications should her assertions prove accurate. If this case proceeds to trial, any aspect of her narrative that withstands examination could have significant repercussions. Hermes may not only lose a case but could also forfeit their entire